everyone, welcome back! Today's video is about my first ever trip to Melbourne that was back in May. This is actually my second place I've been to that's been outside of my state. Melbourne is located around the bottom of Australia in the state of Victoria. Anyways, let's get on with the video. Around the end of May, we went on our trip to Melbourne. Why we went to Melbourne? We went to the Global Football Week. We took a plane to Melbourne. This was actually our first time doing a night flight, but it was alright, saves waking up at the crack of dawn. Now, in May, it's autumn, so it's cold but not cold enough that you need a jumper. Oh my! When we arrived in Melbourne, it was so cold! As soon as we got off the plane, it felt like ice. When we arrived, it was around 8 PM and it was 11 degrees. Now, as this was a new place we've never been to, we didn't really know about the transport. Luckily, Melbourne has something called the Skybus, which is a bus service at the airport that takes you to the main station of Melbourne. We were kinda lucky where the Skybus dropped us off because our hotel was only a 5-minute walk from the station. We spent roughly around a week in Melbourne, but every day was jam-packed with a bunch of stuff to do. So our first day we took the chance to explore and figure out transport. A great thing about Melbourne is that they have free trams. It was amazing but also stressful at the same time because we didn't really know the areas and the trams stopped being free at a certain point. We ended up at a shopping centre. We kind of purposely ended up there because there was a pop-up store for a K-pop group I stand there. So we went to that first and then we found a really cute store called Sunday Tokyo Market. It was so cute! I wanted to buy everything in that store. We found another store and I can't believe the self-control I had in that store. I didn't end up buying anything. And yes, I did end up going to a K-pop store in Melbourne called Happy Town K-pop. We went back to the hotel, then I remembered there was a little cafe that I saw on TikTok. It was only a 10-minute walk, so we ended up going there. It was so cute too! It was time to head to the MCG where the first game was played. It was Tottenham vs Newcastle United. We packed warm, but apparently it wasn't warm enough for Melbourne's weather. It was super cold, especially up high in the stadium. We were freezing. The next day we wanted to see where the trams would take us and ended up going to Sea Life. After that, we went walking for a bit and stumbled across a capsule machine. I got this little egg pudding. When walking, I also found another place I wanted to go to that I found on TikTok. It was the very first self-serve bubble tea place. I loved it so much. We also got warmer jumpers for Friday night as we didn't want to freeze like the other night. Second last day before we go home, it was kind of our relaxing day. We decided to go out and get some lunch. There were so many food places around us that it was hard to choose. My mum and I went walking down the street and we turned because we saw a food place, but little did we know that we were about to enter a food alley. So many food places and all looked so good. We ended up choosing a Japanese cafe and got this really delicious bento. Later that night, it was the next set of games, which was a double header, with the teams being All Stars Women vs Arsenal, and then later was All Stars Men's vs Newcastle United at Marvel Stadium. Here comes our last day in Melbourne. We spent it going to 2 K-pop events. And after that, it was time to head to the airport. Honestly, my thoughts on Melbourne, it was interesting. Some of the people there were something. It was really cold too, but I do give props for having amazing stores and food. Melbourne isn't really my top place to go back to, but I would go back if I had another chance to. Sydney is still my favourite. That reminds me, I'll be going back to Sydney in October to see Stray Kids once again. So look out for a bunch of photos again. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time. Bye!
It's been 3 days since I've seen